Hi everyone, this is Tuplex. Welcome back. I've been pretty busy in between episodes here, so I'll take you through some of what I've done. I did finally build Power Armor Mark II. That took a little bit of AFK time because the Power Armor requires 5 efficiency module 3s and 5 speed module 3s, which I crafted by hand, and that took quite a while to get done, but I did finally get it done. And what I'm doing, I added another personal roboport, so I've got 3 now, which means I can command up to 75 bots. I added a second battery. I've got my portable fusion reactor, and I'm going to be making another one. Right now I'm waiting to get more blue circuits. And then we also finished the MOX Fuel research, which will allow us to make fuel cells directly from plutonium. So we can go set that up in the reactor area. And then at this point, I decided to stop doing any more research so that I could accumulate some blue circuits. Actually, I need another roboport up there. Oh, and I added a second exoskeleton too, so you can see that makes a pretty huge difference in my run speed, which is nice. That'll help us get things done more quickly. All right, so I just want to... Okay, so if I put it here, I can link these two sides. I like that place better, because you guys know how I am. I like to try to line things up. There we go. So I was collecting some blue circuits here in this chest, but not getting them. Yeah, so I'm just trying to accumulate another 250 blue circuits so that I can make a second fusion reactor. All right, so that'll be done in a few minutes, I suppose. And actually what I'll do is I'll put a loader there. And I'll connect it to the logistic network, and I'll tell it to run only when we have more than 250 blue circuits in the logistic network. Actually, let's just make it 50, because I already have 200. Okay, so we'll get there soon. And then I can go ahead and let this continue to run. And I guess we could do a couple more small researches. I don't really feel the need to upgrade the radar anymore at this point. Robot upgrades would certainly be nice to have. Rocket silo, I'm going to wait until we've got everything else set up. I don't really need the logistic slots. Okay. All right. Well, we'll do cargo size, and then we'll do speed. There we go. And that's going to take a long time to finish, obviously. Okay, so we're only... Okay, awesome. So I've got the circuits I need for the other reactor. So I'll go ahead and build that, and then we'll let that do its thing. Let's go and set up the uranium, or the plutonium fuel cell thing. The MOX processing. What else have I done? You may have noticed here and actually, stop. Let me go back. I've started making explosives, and these are the ones that I need for creating water, the explosive excavation stuff. So the recipe is just grenades, empty barrels, and explosives. Explosives I am making down here. Those require sulfur, coal, and water. And I have I started with a whole chest full of them, but there's not that much now anymore. And then the barrels I just make from steel here, right? So I'm making steel into barrels, and then once it gets enough explosives. And then the grenades I'm already making where the science area is. So this is taking, this is not fast by any means. I've got 216 of them. That won't last a long time because these things use one for every tile of land that you blast away. So it's a fairly expensive proposition to make large quantities of water, which is why I just set it up to make as much as it can. Also, our stone mine in the main base is now completely mined out, as you can see. And iron is almost completely mined out. There's only one mining drill still going there. And it looks like copper is not too far behind. Yeah, we're down to 15% on copper. And then our coal supply in the main base is also on its way out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove stone from our monitor list. And the rest of them I'll keep there for now. Okay. So now we can do this MOX Fuel Processing. I'm guessing I need one of these, huh? All right, I don't have any more used plutonium fuel cells, so I can get rid of this, I think. Was that the recipe? I feel like I'm missing something here. Okay, yeah. So it was in one of these. Yeah, uranium fuel cells. There we go. Okay, so I can pick that up. So let's put a blue one there, and then an active one on the output. That only takes 10 seconds, which is pretty fast. All right, and then I'll just shift right click, shift left click, and that'll automatically populate what we need there. Then we can do that for the iron, and then I'll just remove iron from that request there. Okay. So with this, we'll make fuel cells with all of the plutonium that we generate from our reprocessing efforts. It looks like we get quite a bit of it. Let's take a look over here. Yeah, we're still not using very much power, so it'll be a while before we make any more fuel cells here. And then we're continuing to process the uranium. I suppose I should tell this process to stop once we've reached a certain threshold. Although I don't have a lot of uranium-235 right now. But I suppose that's what the plutonium is for, since we have a good chance to get plutonium when we process our spent fuel cells. And if we get 1 plutonium, yeah, because look, there's a 25% chance of a plutonium from 5 spent fuel cells. So that means for every 20, on average, for every 20 spent fuel cells, we'll get 1 plutonium. And 1 plutonium will give us 10 more fuel cells. So this setup should reduce our need for uranium-235, I want to say by half. One uranium-235 will give us 10 fuel cells. Yeah, so for every... So 2 uranium-235 will give us 20 fuel cells. And then those, in turn, will give us 10 more fuel cells from the plutonium. So yeah, it'll reduce our dependence on uranium-235 by 50%. If I did the math wrong, please let me know. Okay, and then while I'm here, let's see if we can blast away some of the water channel that we need. Which I said was going to be over here. Now, I just want to double check this, because we're eventually going to have to double the number of steam engines. Like that. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to relocate this stuff. Well, maybe not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've got 8. When I add 2 more over here, I'm going to get double the neighbor bonus. So I'm going to go from 200% to 300%. Or no, I'm going to go from 100 to 200. Right, and then and then we have a third row, then the ones in the middle are going to go from 1 reactor plus 100%, and it's going to get 200% more, so it's going to double. All right, yeah, so at the maximum, I'm going to need twice as many heat exchangers here. Okay, so I'm just going to take one of these. All right, so let's just try this. I'm just going to blast away 1 tile. Bam. So you can see that there's barely a hole, just because it's hard to see a single tile. Let me get a pump. Okay, and that's not big enough. I'm going to have to take out... I'll take out a 2x2 block. This is just so we can test it. And that's not working either. Okay, can I fit a pump in there now? Yes, now I can. But not the way that I want it. All right, so let's take out a couple more. And you can see that this damages the surrounding structures too, so you have to be a little bit cautious with it. I don't think it'll, well, maybe it will destroy some things. Okay. And we said that that would have to go right there. Okay, so it looks like that'll work from that side. And let me make another pump. And I think, okay, yeah, so that looks like that'll work fine. So we put that guy back, and then let's go ahead and continue to blast away. Yeah, you can also hurt yourself with this thing, so use caution. Okay, yeah, so it's really messy, and I just used up a bunch of those explosives. So like I said, it's not, and I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait before I do any more of those, because I don't want to, just in case I made a mistake here, I don't want to waste all of the explosives, which take a long time to produce. Or I might just have to ramp up the production of the explosives. All right, so we need one there, and we need one there. Yeah, and actually in this case, I don't need pumps on the other side. I only need pumps on this side. Now, one thing I will want to check is how many pumps. I don't remember what the ratio of pumps to heat exchangers was. So when I double that and I have 16 heat exchangers, yeah, that's going to take 2 pumps. So when this is doubled up, I'll have to do something like that. But then if I do that, there's not going to be enough room. Yeah, so this is going to have to be moved over by 1. All right, let me go back and grab a little bit of landfill. Yeah, so it's going to have to be like that. And I've got a little bit of landfill in my train. So I'll throw my explosives in there. Having this run speed is pretty nice. Oh, I forgot to put my other reactor in there. There we go. Seems like I don't really need it right now, but okay. Yeah, so let's take that out, and then I need to add back 1 tile of land. Like that. And that should still give us enough room. Okay. So then if these were connected like that, then this should still fit. Yeah. All right, so that's going to be our water channel. It's 3 wide. I think it could probably even just be 2 wide and still get the job done. I think I like 3 wide instead. Looks better. Oh, okay. Well, I left my blasters back in the train, but yeah, we'll make it 3 wide. Okay. Well, that's enough messing around with that. it'll be a while before we have to expand that. The next time we add power, I'll be adding 2 reactors to the other side. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to at least get started on today is setting up oil refining. And I'm thinking that this square right here would be a good place to do that. We have some access to water. There's not a lot, but we should be able to get a decent number of pumps. Right, we'll be able to fit 1, 2, 3, 4 over there. We could probably get 2 or 3, maybe 4 over there, and we can always expand those later. You know, and in the worst case, we can run pipes from this lake over there. So let's go ahead and set that up. We'll start heading back towards the main base, and then I'll just switch to manual once we start getting close. So we'll only need to build 2 sides of that grid and then start to set up the refinery. Okay, well, that's not quite what I wanted to do. Let's go back up here. And then I want to go backwards to the right. No, backwards to the left. There we go. Okay, get my rail blueprint. There we go. I'm going to hit F2. I'm going to switch sides. It feels strange for me to be driving backwards. Let's turn on the nanobots as well. And then we probably ought to get rid of this forest. Well, rather than destroy it, though, I'll just pick up the wood. That way we can get more solid fuel from it. I need more rail. And I'll grab some more signals. Okay. 75 bots sure feels nice. Okay. I think another one of those reactors would be a good idea, or another one of those roboports. So we can run 100 bots. I noticed something strange with the nanobots. When I was using them to build rail like this, I could be mistaken, but it seems like the nanobots will take inventory from your train car if you're in the vehicle. And I'm not positive that it did that, but it seemed like it did. All right, so let's get rid of rocks and trees here. I've got room for another few hundred more pieces of wood before it starts to jam up my inventory. Okay. Yeah, so I think we're done here. Let me throw some of this stuff on the train so I can make room. And then we can empty that out when we get back to the station. Okay. All right, so for refining, when we have modules and beacons, productivity modules really is what we're mainly concerned with. The speed modules and the beacons just speed things up, but the productivity modules is what changes your ratios. So you may remember in the starting base, we have a ratio of 8 refineries, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got one machine cracking heavy to light, and then we have 7 machines cracking light to petroleum. Well, when you put in the productivity modules, you're going to be getting some bonus. Let's see how many module slots. All right, so we've got 3 module slots, so we'll be getting a 30% bonus on the outputs with this, which obviously is going to be changing the ratios. So when we're using beacons and modules, the ratio changes to 5 refineries, 1 heavy oil, and 7 light oil. So we're going to need to set that up. Now the other thing is that besides just making petroleum, I'll also want to be making lubricant and sulfuric acid. And for now, I think that's it. I think when we get to the point that we want to make solid fuel in large quantities, I'll have a dedicated area making solid fuel. And we can do that from coal as well with coal liquefaction. Yeah, so I think we'll need to export petroleum for plastic, lubricant, and sulfuric acid. Okay. All right. So first I need to get my train out of the way. So let's set up a station here. We'll just do a generic station. Is that right? 1, 2, 3. Yep. There. And then I'll put a station here. And we'll just call this Refinery 1. There we go. It loads fast. Okay. So if we're gonna be making 3 fluids, and we're going to be importing crude oil. So that means we're gonna need all 4 stations. And on the exit, I just got a couple of chain signals. So let's set that up. There we go. And actually what I can do to get out of the way is I'll just come up here, since there won't be any traffic coming up on this line. Okay, so let's set up, we'll make this the oil station. All right, and this will be, what should we do for the refinery? I think I'll just put a picture of a refinery. There we go. All right, so we'll bring oil in here. That means we're going to need a couple of storage tanks. Let's see, one, two. So I'll use those big storage tanks to unload. Like that. This will need to be an LTN station, actually. All right. Refinery 1, oil. And we'll have enough room that I can actually set up 2 of these on this same line. Okay, let's get some power. And let's configure it. All right, first we'll connect the tanks so we can see our inventory. Okay, so we're going to limit this to 1 train at a time. We're going to set the maximum train length to 4. We are going to set the provide threshold to a very high number so that nothing comes here looking to get oil loaded. And I think that's about it. Oh, and then let's set the request threshold to 50,000, which is how much one train car can hold. And then we'll set the desired level to, let's see, if I request at 50, see if I set the desired quantity to 100, it'll request at 50. I think I really need a 3rd tank here. Yeah, let's put a 3rd tank just to handle overflow. All right, so I'm going to set the desired quantity to 100,000. And that has to be minus. It is minus. Oh, okay. And then I have to connect it. Otherwise, I won't do anything. There we go. All right. So now one of our tanker trains is leaving. That'll go to oil 1, which is down here. Where I have about 200,000 waiting. Oh, you know what? For 100,000, I only need 2 tanks. All right. Yep. Because these are 100,000 each, not 100,000 total. So this will be fine. I've got more than enough room. Okay, and here comes our train. That'll unload, and then we'll get another delivery right away. Okay, great. And then we'll set that to crude oil. All right, so we can see we're actually one short of 50,000 for some reason. Some kind of rounding error, I suppose. Okay, and then, like I said, we could set up 2 stations here. Why don't we go ahead and do that? All right, so I'm going to copy this. At least I'm going to try to. Okay, minus the... No, I'll include the combinator. Why not? We can put that... I guess I'll put it right here. Get rid of that signal and that last piece of track there. Yeah, I'll do it right there. I'm going to need another tank. Okay, and then let's see. I want this to kind of roughly cross right where that signal is. Okay. Yeah, so now that signal is confused. We need to get a chain signal there, chain signal there, chain signal there, and then I'll put a regular signal right there. So traffic coming here, we can go up there, and that can go down there, and then I think I want another signal right there. No, doesn't like that. Doesn't like that either. There we go. I wonder if I can put a signal there now. Yeah, now it works. Okay, so I can get rid of that. All right, so let me make a combinator. So we'll get this activated and let's see if this one works. Oh, and this will have to be... we'll call this Refinery 1 Oil B, and we'll call this Refinery 1 Oil A. Okay, now since there's a train station here, having a train station on a line adds a penalty to the path. So when the trains are calculating the path, in this case it should always exit here because it'll it'll essentially see this path as longer because there's a station there. So I just want to make sure that that behaves as intended. Yep, there we go. And then by the same token, trains entering this station should enter here rather than back here for the same reason. Just because there's a station, so it'll see this path as being longer than this path, even though they're technically the same length. Okay, good. So we've got crude oil coming in. We just need to get the refinery built, and then we'll build the stations for the outputs. And because of the size of the trains, we could build double stations for the outputs as well. In fact, I think I'll build the outputs, or at least I'll build the rail big enough to handle 2 trains. Although to start with, I'll probably only have 1 station on each of the outputs, since we won't need any more than that for a while. So we'll get into that in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.